So a couple of days ago, my friend has this dream that I make this custom Overwatch game mode. He sends me a message. He says, "Can you make a custom game in Overwatch called Auto-Lock Mercy, where it sends everyone to the lobby at random intervals and the first person to select Mercy gets a point?" And I've never made a custom Overwatch game mode before, but I said I can certainly try, and that's what we're doing today. So, I've got Overwatch, I am a programmer, and I know some of this is visual programming, and I've done a little bit of game design, not a whole lot. And I've been playing around with it. So here's what I've got so far. We've got a basic custom free-for-all lobby. So every player and players have points. And I've only edited a couple things. And I haven't tested it out yet, so we're going to try to test this live and see how this works. Workshop. So I have two rules. Apparently, Overwatch custom games are made with rules, which is nice. It's very much front-end and not back-end. First one is quite simple. I'm calling it Kills Don't Matter. So it's a global rule, it applies to the whole game, and it just disables the built-in game mode scoring, which is like, I just selected this from a list of things. It's really nice. You can disable respawning, there's lots of stuff. And so this idea is, it's free-for-all, right? But we don't want to give people points when they kill each other. We want to let them kill each other still, probably. I guess that would be a fun thing to do while you're waiting for the Insta-Lock Mercy challenge. But we don't want them to get points from that. We want them to get points from something else. So the first one, kills don't matter. We'll have to make sure that works. And then acquiring points. And so I need to mess around with this, but I want to do some baseline testing first. So this is ongoing for each player, so it's evaluated on an individual basis. On any team, although in free-for-all there's really one team only, for any player, not just like a specific player or a specific character. Although honestly, I'm going to make it Mercy at some point, so I might as well just change that right now. Because it should only be Mercies who have anything happen. So, any player who is a Mercy, this is going to be checked constantly. The condition is, I just needed a template condition to check, is crouching, event player equals true. So event player is just the player for whom is activating this event. If they're crouching and that's true, I'm going to set their score to, set the score of the event player to that player's score +1. So it should add 1 to it. And it should display a custom string that says congratulations. Now, because this isn't a limited event, and this is just if they're crouching, I'm expecting that this rule will be activated almost instantly. Their score will go up to like infinity, basically. Or something in the hundreds of thousands, however quick it can activate. And I set it so they only need 3 points to win. So we're going to go ahead and try this out. I need to add some bots. 7 bots, that's fine. Black Forest. And let's try it without Mercy too. Yeah, let's just try it with Echo. And just kind of make sure, because it shouldn't work with Echo. We only want this to work with Mercy. And then if this rule works, we'll go back, we'll add some more, and then I'll film the next bit. So, first I'm going to test that first rule. Kills shouldn't add points, so let's go ahead and get a kill. Okay, nice. My score is still at 0. Make sure it still applies. Yep, still at 0. I haven't played this game in so long. Still at 0. Well. Okay, and the bots are getting kills too, and those are at 0. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to crouch, and nothing should happen. Score should stay at 0. So, crouch. You are crouching? I should have checked by now. Okay. I guess that's good. That's really just, it's not doing something it shouldn't be doing. Let's swap to Mercy. Mercy. Okay. Now that we're Mercy, we should be able to crouch, and either it should go up to 1, or we should instantly win the game. So, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here, 3, 2, 1. And it says congratulations too. Perfect. Perfect beat. Terrible. Nice. We get the expected behavior. If we're Mercy, only Mercy, and we crouch, our score will increase dramatically. So we're going to add a couple more things, and we're going to come back to it. So real quick, little update. I made a couple of adjustments, but I just realized that I'd actually set the score to win to 1 instead of 3, because numbers are a little funny. If you don't press enter after entering them, they don't actually enter properly into Overwatch. So what actually happens if you press crouch, even if you hold it, the number goes up. So even though the prompt that it tells you is something like he's holding crouch, it's not actually active, like it doesn't stay there. It's really a pressed and not released. It's weird they don't differentiate that, because usually it's pressed, released, or bumped, which means pressed and released, like within a certain period of time. Those are very common in programming, but in this case, it's really just pressed, so it's counting the downward motion of the key. So if I uncrouch, nothing happens. I can crouch again. So congratulations, goes to 2. And of course, to get up to 3, just gonna come up here and then crouch. It won't let me crouch in midair. You learn something new every day. I'm gonna go and spawn and crouch, and that hits 3 points. So that system already works pretty well. It doesn't just like press and hold infinitely, but there's still basically all the rest of the code. Oh yeah. Play of the game right here. Jumps off, respawns, crouches. Boom. You've never seen it that clean before. We'll be back with the next bit. Alright, we're back. We've made a couple of additions, a couple of changes. Big one is this rule down here. Kills give tokens. So, when a player earns an elimination, that player's variable, that's called A, just the first variable, is increased by 1. And then we display a string, we display a text that says, you have this many tokens, where this many is that player's A variable. So basically, there is a player variable that gets increased every time players earn eliminations. And then to acquire points, we make the player crouch, but also we check that that number is greater than 0. It starts at 0 by default. If it's greater than 0, we decrement it, we decrease it by 1, and then we set the score. So the idea here, just to test it, is that we want the player to not only be crouching, but also have a variable that's conditional. We're going to need that because we're going to need to say, okay, at a certain time, you can lock in Mercy, and then only while that like variable is true, and as soon as that variable is false, like someone's locked in Mercy, you can't lock it in anymore, something like that. So we're playing around with that, but we're trying to keep it a functional game mode still. So the idea is, as you earn eliminations, you earn tokens, quote unquote, and you can spend tokens on your player score by crouching. We're going to go ahead and give this a go. So, testing it out. You'll also notice, probably from the last clip, that I disabled that it has to be Mercy. That's just for funsies. It doesn't really matter at this point. We'll implement that later. That's really the last thing we have to implement because it's a simple drop-down. So, what we're going to try to do is crouch, and it doesn't display a message or anything, but it also doesn't give us any points, we can tell. So, we're going to try to get a kill here. It says we have 1 token, and we're going to try to crouch. We get a point. It says congratulations, you have 0 tokens. That is beautiful. That's the expected behavior. We'll make sure we can get more than 1 token. We have 2 tokens. Let's try to get like 1 more maybe. Make sure the game doesn't end or anything random like that. Don't shoot her, she's got a shield. 3 tokens, and now if we crouch, congratulations, you have 2 tokens, and it went up, and now if we crouch 1 more time, we should instantly win the game. So, we're gonna slide, jump up, and then boom, and it reduces it down. You have 1 tokens. So that token system works perfectly with that variable, as intended. As we get kills, or eliminations, the number goes up, and then it, most importantly, the part we care about, it puts that limitation there on crouching to earn points. So now we just have to turn crouching into insta-locking mercy, and we're good. Alright, the big change we've made here is we've implemented global variables instead of local variables for the tokens. So here's what we've got. We've disabled kills give tokens. Kills no longer give tokens. I'm just leaving that code in there for now in case I want to go back to it, do something fun with that. Acquiring points now uses the global A variable instead of a local A variable, which means everyone shares the same pool of tokens. Global. Yeah. And now how tokens come into existence, or it's still kind of based on kills, but whenever players earn eliminations, what we do is we get a random integer between 0 and 9 inclusive. So it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. That's 10 different numbers, 10 opportunities. And we check whether that random number is equal to 0. There's a 1 in 10 chance of that being the case. If it is, this returns true, otherwise false, and then we check if it's equal to true. That's just saying this gets a random number that has a 1 in 10 chance of returning true. So every time someone earns an elimination, there's a 1 in 10 chance of this activating, is the idea. So it doesn't happen every time, and this increases the global token count and then displays a message to everyone saying there are now so many global tokens. The way I envision this working in testing is that I should be able to go through eliminations. It should, you know, we're not going to really use the law of large numbers here, but it should take a while to get a couple of tokens, kind of make sure that works going up, going down. And then also, this works as a preliminary Insta-Lock, except this is an insta-crouch game mode, because we're going to be going through. Every time we get a kill, there's only a 1 in 10 chance of a token being added. But as soon as the token's added, which will be, you know, semi-random, it's still based on kills. It's not true random. I think we can work on that for now. I'll decide whether I want to try to do something truly random. I don't know how possible that is. But when someone gets a kill, a message might pop up saying global tokens 1, and then whoever crouches first gets to consume that token and get a point. Let's go try it out. I'm just going to go Zen for this one. And we've upped the bots from being basically unable to aim to being lethal. We'll see how this goes. We should see at some point global tokens going up. They should actually get some kills on each other. Okay, I got a kill. No tokens got added, which is good news. That means we successfully disabled gaining tokens on eliminations as a guarantee. Nope. I know better, Genji. Can't aim though. Okay, that's 3 so far. And it shouldn't, like, necessarily be 10. Our sample size would have to be very high for us to be exactly sure that, like, the random number's working as expected. But code doesn't tend to lie, and it should be perfectly fine if we just see it occasionally go up. Global tokens 1. Someone killed me, and that gave a global token. So now, we should be able to crouch to consume that token. Ah, it says there are now 1 tokens though. Let's crouch again. So that might be bugged, or it might display the message before it decrements it. That's probably what happened, because crouching again still doesn't do anything. That's probably just an order. We can go back and... we can just look at the code right now. Options, not options. Workshop editor. Acquiring points. That should happen first. It should check whether it's greater than 0. It should decrement it. Then it should set the score, and then big message, congratulations, there are now this many tokens. This should happen in order. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but let's just keep going. Debugging, we're gonna try it again. We've reduced it down to a 1 in 3 chance. So we should see it happen basically all the time. Alright, we're going to try to use the built-in debugger and see how this goes. We've also upped the score necessary to win to 379, just a random high number. because that's odd, where it says global tokens equal to 0. I'm guessing we crouch and it says there are now 1 tokens, and now it says 0. There's something about like concurrency or order of operations there that is not... Okay, so now if we crouch all the way, now there are 0 tokens. We've used them all up. But crouch, nothing happens. That's good. The random thing does seem to be working fine now. I think it said there's 1 token. The crouch, it's now 0. That's as expected. But I'm not sure why it says 0 at the start or things like that. So what we're going to do is... See, it said there's 0 tokens again. We're going to crouch it down, and now it says there are 1. That's wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to pause the match, open the workshop inspector, and we're going to have a look through what all happened here. So the first one, we implemented the rule kills don't matter. Yeah, that's good. Next, that caused an action to happen. Disable built-in game mode scoring. Excellent. Next, an event was triggered, but conditions were not met. So a random opportunity happened. So an elimination happened, but this condition was not met. That happened again. It happens on the 3rd time. Conditions are currently true. Starting actions. So it increased global.a plus equals 1. So it should be equal to 1 now. And then big message, all players, with a custom string saying that it was equal to that. And then acquiring points happened. So after I saw that, but it said it was equal to 0 and not 1, right? It still seems like things are happening out of order. And that's the weird part to me. Because random opportunity, if this happens, this should increase by 1 and it should say this. Now, if this started at -1 for some reason, I could understand if this said 0. But then when we subtract from it, it says, we do subtract from it, and then it says it's equal to however many. Like 1. It's weird that those are backwards. I'm not sure why. Alright, we've made some more changes. And the first thing is we're completely ignoring that last issue we had, because it seemed like it was still working. When we saw text appear, even if it said 0 or 1 or whatever, that would only happen when a token was added, and then it would only let us take 1 token out before it got back down to 0. So even though the numbers were wrong, that's probably like showing actions out of order. So from this point on, I'm just assuming that actions are going to happen in pretty much a random order. They're just all going to happen as a pool. That's fine, we can work with that because the tokenization, like the thing in the back end, was still working fine. We didn't really care in what order we send text. That just doesn't really matter. We don't need to send text anyway. So what we've done for acquiring points, it now just says congratulations. So the numbers aren't going to mess you up. If you get a point, it says congratulations. That should be fine. And for random opportunity, we have changed it to just say insta-crouch. Again, no numbers about tokens. It'll just say insta-crouch. And then whoever crouches first, it'll say congratulations. And if no one crouches, it'll still build up those tokens beyond 1, but that's fine. The thing we've added is a new little thing called send players to champ select. And it is actually a subroutine. So this isn't triggered by anything else, like an event. This is triggered by being called specifically right here. And the subroutine, I don't think we can rename it from being Sub-Zero, but that's okay. Sub-Zero is send players to champ select. And all it does is it sets the player allowed heroes of all players to an empty array, which means no heroes are allowed. And that function should boot players back to champ select, because as soon as your champion's no longer available, you have to select a champion. And then hopefully immediately afterward, and that's assuming that these will happen in order, but maybe that's fine, because I know text things can happen out of order for some various reasons in different programs. Hopefully these will happen in order every time, otherwise we'll see some really weird bugs. It should then re-enable all heroes. So it'll send everyone back and instantly make the heroes available again. And we've set this up so it gets called, again, hopefully at the end, but it gets called whenever a point is acquired. So when acquiring points happens, we crouch, assuming everything's met, we get a point, and it should immediately send everyone back to champ select, which is kind of, we're connecting the idea of this insta-crouch to the insta-lock for Mercy that we're trying to develop. Let's go try it out. Just a quick recap. We expect to, pretty randomly, still with a 1 in 3 chance, it'll say that we can insta-lock, and when it does, we want to plus crouch as quickly as possible, although no one else is going to do it because these are just bots, they don't crouch. And, also insta-crouch doesn't work if you're dead. I don't know if I want to keep that or not. I find it kind of entertaining, like you might just have no chance, but so we can crouch now. That did not send us back to champ select, which is unfortunate. What we're going to do is we're going to try... That didn't either. We're going to try it a couple more times, just to see if... We're still getting points, which is excellent, but I think the champ select code isn't happening properly. Alright, solve the last problem. Basically, it turns out if you set the allowed heroes of a player to an empty array, so no heroes, the game just won't accept that, and it won't throw an error, it just like won't do anything with it, because they overlook the idea where you might want to prevent someone from playing the game for any amount of time, even if it's literally a millisecond. So, what you have to do is, this command seems to work, where you remove from array allowed heroes of all players. Now keep in mind there's more than 8 heroes in the game, and there are only up to 8 heroes allowed in this custom mode, so we can guarantee in that edge case that like all of the heroes that are currently being played is not going to be all of the heroes available in the entire game, which is good. So it's going to remove those from the array of heroes, or it's going to remove from all the heroes in the game the heroes that are being played right now, which should force everyone to go back to champ select. Let's go try it out. Apparently we're trying it out on a map called Workshop Green Screen, because every single map is in the rotation. Never even seen this one before, but beautiful. So, Insta Crouch is available, and when we hit it, it should send everyone back to champ select, as well as give me a point, which is what happened. Now, I'm not totally sure if it's sending everyone back or just me is the issue, because it's definitely sending me back, but I'm the person triggering it. So, the only real way to be sure that it's sending everyone back to champ select would be if it gets triggered by someone else. Let's go ahead and change that now. We're going to go into the workshop editor, and right now it's being called when we acquire points. We're just going to call it whenever random opportunity happens. So we're going to go here, turn that on, try it again. So now we still have the option to send presumably everyone back to the lobby whenever we crouch, which is how we get points, but anytime a token is added to the global pool, which means anytime, you know, there's a 1 in 3 chance every time someone gets a kill, it should send everyone back to the lobby. And because I'm not going to be getting the kills, I'm not going to be triggering it, so if I get sent back to the lobby, it should be everyone who gets sent back to the lobby. Boom. Everyone got sent back, and I presume there's 1 token. I can crouch, send everyone back again.
Come on, Snowball. We need our help.
And what we want to check here, we just want to make sure we don't see a message that says a token's been added. Okay, like we were in May's thing and still sent us back, which means there should be a token available. I just used it. Maybe there's another token. Yep. Maybe there's another token. Maybe there's another token. Might be a lot of tokens here. Ah, but at some point we do run out of tokens, because if I crouch repeatedly, I'm crouching repeatedly right now. at 10 and we're out of tokens. Not totally sure what the deal is there. Feel like it's been more than 10. We made a couple more changes now. We've entirely removed crouching. We've just disabled that. So now, on a random opportunity, there's a 1 in 3 chance. It just sets A to true. We're just using true or false. That's all we need. We don't need, like, numbers, like a semaphore. Sets it to true, and it calls the subroutine. The subroutine sends everyone a champ select, and then lets them choose whatever hero they want. And then, we have this mercy lock condition, where if the game's in progress, and there's a point available, right? So we had set this to true, which means we had sent people back to champ select, and the particular player, the one we're looking at, is playing mercy, then they consume that point. So they get the point, their score goes up, we congratulate them with a message, and we prevent anyone else from locking mercy. So we make the champion pool for everyone else not include mercy. So, we're going to play this for now. Technically no one has actually locked mercy right now, and there might be a point available, I don't know. Oh. Let's lock in mercy. We get a point, it says congratulations. And no one else should be able to lock in mercy now. The easiest way to check that really is going to be when it sends us back to champ select and someone else locks in mercy and prevents us from doing so. Until then, we're just going to give it a couple seconds. I think bots lock in instantly. Back to champ select. We'll pick mercy again. Back to champ select. We'll pick mercy again. Still no other mercies that I see. Which means this is performing as expected. Still letting us pick mercy. One thing I do notice here that I might want to do something about is that if you're playing mercy and you get sent back to champ select, all you have to do is hit continue to keep mercy. You don't have to go to mercy and then continue. So I am thinking what we might want to implement is something that once you actually pick mercy prevents you from playing mercy, which seems a little bit antithetical to the idea, because I am thinking it would be very fun to let someone play as mercy and maybe just like make them an invincible mercy or something like that, something a little bit goofy. That way you get to kind of enjoy the fact that you clicked on mercy first. But I think clicking continue is definitely way too easy. And I guess none of the bots are picking mercy. So I'm gonna lock in someone else next time, just to make sure they like have an opportunity to. Alright, we are starting it again, this time with 7 support bots. And you should be able to pick every champion multiple times except mercy. So we'll kind of see how this goes. No points off the bat, which is good. I don't know if anyone's playing mercy though. Oh, so we can't click on mercy right now. I presume someone else is playing mercy. Someone else should have a point. Support number 2, who is not playing mercy anymore, which is odd. But support number 2 still got the point. Mercy's taken again. And I got a point there even though I locked in Zen. That seems concerning. Let's make sure that the mercy select is actually working as intended. So, mercy lock. It's not. We have is hero being played, hero mercy, all teams equal to true. That is not what we want. That's just if a mercy is being played, it's basically picking someone at random. It's a complete opposite of what we want. We want something like hero of hero of the event player, right? The person that's actually checking should be equal to a specific hero, the hero of mercy, like so. I think that's what we want. To restart, try it again. So now it should be the same thing. Starting with 0 points, which I guess is good. Although we could test that more easily by picking mercy before the start. Someone has picked mercy. And it is the mercy who has the point. Showing there at the top, support number 5 as mercy. Which is wonderful. Now no one else has mercy. I'm going to pick mercy. Can't pick it anymore. Someone else Picked it. Support number 5, picked Mercy again. It was a little bit weird, it looked like someone else's points went up. Score 3 and 1. Support number 5 is really killing it with Mercy right now. I lock it in.
Don't worry, I'll be right behind.
See, I don't know how they got to 4, because it was 3 and 1. That's a bit concerning. It feels like there's still Mercy, which makes me think that they weren't, like, kicked off of Mercy. But if they weren't kicked off of Mercy, it shouldn't have let me be Mercy, other than the fact that it reset. Alright, we've had to make a whole bunch of changes. I don't even remember where we were last time, but where we are right now is pretty close to the final goal. We've got the Insta-Lock thing down pretty solid, where at various points it'll kick everyone to the lobby like that. Whoever picks Mercy first, boom, gets a point, just like that. And the part that we just tried to add is hopefully, there we go. What it'll force, it'll force Mercy to play Symmetra, is what we're trying to do here. This one's a bit tricky, because it does respawn them as Symmetra, but then it immediately also forces them back to the champ select screen, and it doesn't reset it after it makes them Symmetra. I can show you that code here. It's not Mercy Lock, it's part of some players to champ select. So we start forcing this player to be Symmetra, and immediately after that I think what we need to do is stop forcing them. S-T-O-P. Stop. Forcing player to be hero. And this will be just all players. Just stop forcing them. Let them pick. And then we want to move this up. So we're going to let anyone be picked, but then we're immediately going to restrict it down, and then that should work. Let's restart it and try it again. I can talk about it a little bit as we restart. Show lobby, restart match. So yeah, it's been an iterative process. The issue is when Mercy respawns, if you picked Mercy in the first place, all you have to do is press continue, which is a lot easier than having to go and click on her and then press continue, or spacebar, or I think there's some different shortcuts to it. So what we're trying to do is let whoever's Mercy be Mercy, because like once you select Mercy, you want to play as Mercy for a while. You're the only Mercy. You know, you want to celebrate the fact that you managed to insta-lock Mercy. But after that, okay, see, it put me on Symmetra, so I still have to go back to Mercy. That's exactly what we want there. So even if you pick Mercy, if you just hit continue like I did just there, it puts you on Symmetra. And I suppose I could do like a random hero instead, but I think Symmetra's probably fine. Boom, on Symmetra. We're gonna lock Mercy. You can also just double click on Mercy. It's probably the quickest way to do it, honestly, that I know of. We're gonna try it with a hero that isn't Mercy now, to make sure it still works for everyone else. So once we lose, we're gonna lock in maybe like Genji, because we're trying to figure out whether everything works. And there's one thing I'm still not sure about, and that's if it sends everyone to the lobby every time. I think I need other players playtesting to see if that works. Okay, that was Genji. Junkrat, it's at least sending them back there. My score hasn't increased or anything, which is good. Alright, right now we're testing out a couple of Mercy buffs. Everything else works pretty much as expected. I'll have to look at this, because we have Mercy buffs. So, ongoing for each player. If players on hero, Mercy all teams equals true, that's not right at all. We just want to make it really spectacularly fun for whoever's Mercy. Not too overpowered, that's why like I don't want to give them a gun. Or like extra move speed or something insane. Just probably invisible and then like one hit kill melees. And that'll just be kind of pretty silly. So, 0, and we can't reload. I don't think the damage one's probably working at all. Yeah. Doesn't look like the damage one's working whatsoever. Let's go ahead and look at that and see what we did wrong there. Mercy buffs. Set damage dealt to 100. This should be something like 100,000 now. As high as it can be. I guess 1,000 is as high as it goes. I don't know if I showed it, but I made it so the chances of things happening now scales with the number of players. So if there's 2 players, there's a 1 in 2 chance. That's the lowest. And if there's 8 players, there's a 1 in 8 chance. Okay, come on. Okay, it's not quite a one-hit kill. Let's just try ulting, which we can do. And then, it's a lot of damage, though. Taking the lead, because I locked in Mercy. Locked in Mercy again. So this should be a 1 in 8 chance here. Welcome to Insta-Lock Mercy. It's complete. It's definitely rough around the edges, but it's completely playable, and I added a little bit of polish just to make it enjoyable. First thing you'll notice is that you have to lock in Mercy to start. Everyone has to lock in Mercy. Mercy is overpowered. Her damage is about 10 times the normal amount, but her ammo is mostly limited. So she starts with 10 shots. She cannot reload. So she gets 10 very high-powered shots, and then she can just melee, and everyone's Mercy. So everyone gets this very high damage, low health fight, essentially, at the start, until the first Insta-Lock happens. Because we're all here to play Mercy, right? That's why we're playing Insta-Lock Mercy. I also added, and we're playing with actual people right now. Random people, but actual people. Another thing I noticed was that bots sometimes were not recognized properly by the game rules. I don't really know why, they just weren't. Players are though. So the game actually behaves exactly as intended when playing with actual people.
I could have examined you from back there.
Nice one-hit kill there. And I added the tooltip and everything at the top. Damn. Oh. Damn. Wasn't fast enough. So, high 600. Got the point. Congratulations. You insta-locked Mercy the fastest. They get a little message there. Or everyone gets that message. Still a one-hit kill. Oh. Darn it. Was not ready for that. So, the way it works there, it doesn't happen immediately when you get a kill anymore. Well, in this case, it happens pretty quick, but it happens about 1 to 2 seconds after someone gets an elimination and the random chance procs, essentially. And the idea behind that is otherwise you could kind of know exactly when you get a kill, like, oh, I got a kill, you know, immediately as soon as you do that, there's a chance you'll all get sent back to the menu to insta-lock. And in this case,
You didn't think that through, did you?
that's not the case. I believe it's a 1 in 2 chance right now, which is why it's happening so often with us, because it scales, right? There's 2 of us, there's a 1 in 2 chance. If there's 8 players, it's 1 in 8. So it should take about the same amount of time in general, which is nice. Yeah, everything works as intended. I added Made by Slammy there in the upper left. Just because I can publish this now, I suppose. And it sounds like she's in there. It is first to 3 as well. I'm also definitely out of ammo, but I'm ready for that.
Don't worry. I'll be right behind you.
I'm getting my Insta-Lock Mercy practicing. Yeah, there's
If only I'd been on your side.
the tooltip at the top saying, when sent to the Hero Select menu, try to Insta-Lock Mercy the fastest. Just in case people do not understand what they're supposed to do. Because, like, if you didn't really get what this game mode was, I would think it would be a bit confusing. Otherwise, Mercy isn't really buffed other than damage, so she's still really easy to kill. I didn't want to make her like invincible. Thought that would be too much. Yeah, so everything about it basically works. This is Insta-Lock Mercy. You start as Mercy, and then you get sent back to the main menu. Not completely random times. Pseudo-random. Not perfectly pseudo-random either. I think ideally, if I wanted to spend a couple more days and polish this up, I would really want to... I'd want to make it so that getting sent back to the Insta-Lock thing doesn't happen on eliminations. It happens as a basis of time. So it might be like somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds, or somewhere between 15 and 60 seconds, it'll happen. That way if people just want to sit around and like talk while they're waiting to Insta-Lock, then they can. And that would be more consistent across having lots of players too. But the system is still completely functional. It still works. I also have a little silly little thing. I think there's a 1 in 10 chance if Mercy gets a melee kill on someone, because she's probably going to be trying to do that a lot. There's a 1 in 10 chance that it says something to the effect of, like, wow, you got a melee kill. Oh. Yes! First to 3. Put a GG in the chat. So that is... that is the game mode. This is Insta-Lock Mercy. Shout out to my friend. Thanks for asking me to do this. This was a lot of fun. If you like, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. If you have something you'd like to see me do or talk about or anything, let me know. And feel free to go play this game mode. This is the code. It's right here. It's on the screen. It's right there, right now. Go play it.